Alright guys, I'm going to do a little update here. I did a video a while back here talking about I had an intake leak on my 2001 F-150 5.4 intake. It was leaking on the upper intake here. It was leaking right around here on the thermostat housing. Of course, I've already changed this with a Dorman intake, and so I went to record this before, and somehow it didn't save, didn't load, but it's gone. So I was going to do a how-to, but this is pretty simple. It's about 4 or 5 hours worth of work, depending on how you work, if you have all the tools. It's fairly easy. I think this intake was somewhere about 100, I think it was 160 off of Amazon. I may be wrong, but I can't remember. I bought this intake a couple months back. So here's what I learned. So my intake was leaking. I went ahead and changed the gaskets on it, put it back together. Ran fine for a couple weeks, started leaking antifreeze again. So what I learned is next time, just replace it. These intakes, these 5.4s, I think the 4.6s are the same way. They just wear out. This truck has 235,000 miles on it. It's pulled trailers, it's done all kinds of work, played in the mud, it's done all kinds of work here. So I knew it was overdue. I was just trying to take a cheap way out, and it didn't work. Ended up spending twice as much when I should have just done it right the first time, just changed it out. And I'll tell you what guys, this intake is worth it. Some will say it's junk. I've only had it on for the night, and I drove it last night. I'll try to do an update. If anything goes bad, I'll update, comment. I'll keep you guys updated on it. But so far, so good. It actually, sorry for the plane going over here. It was feeling kind of doggy, and I don't know why. I think I might have found it in the intake, in the old intake. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, it's different. It's no race car, no race truck, but it does have more pickup and go. And that's the only thing I have besides the cold air and a Flowmaster exhaust. It's still got the cats on it. I've not cut those off yet, but the intake's the only thing I changed on this go around. So while you got the intake off, go ahead and do the spark plugs. Clean your injectors up if you think they need replaced. I think Amazon sells or eBay sells some remanufactured ones or some flow tested ones that can change out. That's all depending on how it ran before. But do your spark plugs. If they have, at least they've been changed recently, but honestly I'd change them twice. Fluid got down back in around the spark plugs, was fouling it out after I changed this intake out last night. I could not even drive the truck down the street without it missing. So I had to change the spark plugs again. So I had to take it back apart. So that's what I learned again. So on this one, we'll just, pretty simple. I won't go any farther than that. Pull your air intake off, pull your top cover off, throttle cables off, all your hoses, take all your vacuum lines off. They run around. They all come from over here. They all run around. They plug in here, EGR, some sensors, some sensor plugs here you can unplug. They'll all lay out of the side. You gotta take the alternator off. It's these 3 bolts on top. There's 2 bolts down here. Make sure you take the tension loose on your belt. Lay your belt down. The alternator will go forward. Once you get the 2 bolts out there, 3 bolts back there. And then pull your fill rails off, unclip them in the back, unbolt them on the side, pull your coil packs off, just one little screw holding each coil pack in, pull it off, and pretty much your intake's ready to come off there. I will note that best thing probably to do is to drain the block, let the antifreeze get out of the intake there, and then you might not have a problem getting fluid down in your spark plugs. I didn't do that. I thought I had it down enough, and ended up getting in the plug still, which it was leaking anyways. When I put it back on, it was leaking inside the water jacket here. I'll show you on the other intake here in a minute. it was pretty simple. Like I said, 4-5 hours worth of work. Hang on, be right back. Alright, now we're back over here at the intake. So, as you can see right there, it was split. Let's see if I can get... And it was not like that when I put it back on. Now, I don't know if torquing it back down, it broke it out more, cracked it out. But it started leaking even more from there. Everywhere else looked pretty good. Could not see a problem anywhere else besides right there, and that's where my leak started developing, started filling up around the injector. They say the intake's torque specs for the new one: 18 inch-pound start, 18 foot-pounds stage 2. Pretty simple. Overall, I'm happy with the intake change. Can't complain. Recommended. I searched and searched and searched about how, if it was even worth it. You know, if people notice the gains, which that's why I put the factory one on there. I couldn't really find any good reviews on the intake besides, you know, someone cracked out one and had to put it on there. But I'll tell you what, I felt just a little bit, like I said, I don't know, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm just blowing smoke, but I did tell it did get up and run on my truck. I don't know if that was a problem. Oh, the other problem I noticed on this one was that intake runner. Let's see. See, it's got a ledge on it. Now the other intake runners were smooth on the new intake. See, it's got a ledge on it. It almost looks like where air has to travel around it. Sorry about the lighting, guys. I should have got my shop light out. But they all have edges. Or it looks like air has got to flow around it. Maybe that's just mine. I don't know if anybody else had the experience on their intake. I didn't notice it the first time. But all in all, that Dorman intake, well worth the money spent. Like I said, buy a set of plugs, oil, antifreeze, and do it all right the first time. Any comments, any questions, leave in the comments. I'll try to help you guys out. But simple job. Home mechanic can do it with the right tools and be done 4 or 5 hours, depending, maybe faster. I didn't work very hard. I did it all last night, as you can tell. I have a mess in the shop still where my oil bucket split on me from sitting, I guess. I don't know. So anyways, that's my review of the intake. Anyways, I'll talk with you guys later. Thanks. Bye.